Hey y'all, Dennis at Dennis's Backyard Barbecue. Today we're gonna do a chuck roast. And I'm gonna put a little different twist on it. I mean, I've injected them and marinated them and all of that before, but I'm gonna do this one like I did the recent London broil video. I wanna see how it's gonna turn out. It's a bigger cut of meat, it's a thicker cut of meat. It's got more marbling, so it should be more tender, and that London broil was really tender. So, let's give this a go and we'll see how it works out. Let's get to it. Okay, we are still digging out from Helene. So I pre-did some stuff. So what I did is I put about 3 or 4 tablespoons of red wine vinegar on each side of this chuck roast. And then I rubbed it with garlic salt and black pepper. And I let it sit in the refrigerator for 4 hours. So now that you're caught up, this is where we are. And all I did was just a couple of tablespoons on each side of each. So, but I didn't have time to video it because I was out still removing tree limbs. All right, so now what we're gonna do, because I already did garlic salt and black pepper, I'm gonna put a little bit of Montreal steak sauce on here. Not a lot, just a little bit. I'm gonna pat that. I'm gonna flip it. What the vinegar did is it helped tenderize that meat. Or so did garlic salt. Now, when I did the London broil video, I tenderized the meat. I don't need to tenderize this. There is no need to tenderize this piece of meat because it is going to be so tender anyway that it's just going to be really good because the chuck roast is marbled up. All right, now what I'm doing, I'm putting some Worcestershire sauce on. Just give us a little bit of extra flavor. Maybe a tablespoon and a half each side. All right, so now we got it ready to go. We're going to do this on the Weber kettle grill. We're going to bring it up to 300 degrees. We will cook indirect until we hit 110 degrees internal, because I'm going to use the exact same recipe I did for the London broil. 110 degrees internal. Then we're going to sear it, but we're going to sear this one for probably 8 or 9 minutes aside because this thing is big. So we're going to try that. This is an experiment. If it works, y'all have a great recipe. If it doesn't work, you know what not to do. So let's get it on the grill. Okay, our chimney's got our coals good and hot. Let's dump them in here. Like I said, we're gonna do this indirect till we get to 110 internal. Once we hit 110, we're going direct and we're gonna do a reverse sear on this, and it's gonna be really good. All right, so let me get this thing on the grill. Okay, so we got our coals good and hot. Let's get this chuck roast on the grill. Doesn't that look good? I'm gonna cover it up for a little bit. We're gonna dial that temperature into 300, and I'm gonna have my temperature indicator over the chuck roast. Once we get to 300, I'm gonna stick my meat probe in there and we're gonna see how she goes. Okay, let's take our Flora intelligent thermometer and we're gonna stick it right in here into the middle of the meat. And we're gonna cook it just like this till 110 internal. Let's let it roll. Okay, so we are at 110 internal. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my meat probe out, because that's very important, because the heat that I'm fixing to throw on this thing is gonna mess up my meat probe. So we're gonna take that out, and it's hotter than Hades. All right, take a look, see what you think. It's nowhere near done, but now I'm gonna sear it for 5 minutes aside. And we'll be back in a minute to flip it. All right, so that's 4 minutes on that side. Get it over here, away from the heat. All right, I'm gonna do 3 minutes on this side. I mean, that char is gonna be good. We're gonna do 3 minutes. And then we're gonna take it back off the heat and bring it up to about 130. Let's let it finish. All right, now it's time to get it back off the heat. And, oh yeah, we got a good sear on there. All right, now we're gonna stick our meat probe back in there and we are going to 135. And when we get there, we're gonna eat. So let's let it cook. All right, this says that we are good to go. So, what I'm gonna do, I gotta pull my temperature probe. This should be a nice medium rare daggone chuck roast. Got a nice little thick crust on it from the reverse sear. Let me pull this off of here. We're gonna let it rest for about 10 minutes, then we're gonna cut it up. I'll be right back. All right, here we go. So got it cut in half, because that's where the fat part went. Let's take a few slices. I want to get deep into it because I want the juicy part. Because the more outside you go, the more well done it is. And well done beef is a waste of beef. I'm gonna take one more cut. Then we're gonna have a taste. And yes, this is a sharp knife, it just doesn't look that way. All right, so it's time to have a taste. Let's see how we did. Not quite as tender as that London broil was, but we did fast cook it. We cooked it for about 1 hour and 5 minutes. We let it sit for about 30. What would I do different? I don't know. For a rare steak, and this is just a giant steak, consistency is about right. I don't know that I'd do a daggone thing different. That's pretty daggone good. One caveat to that video. The chuck roast was really good, but I've done chuck roast before where I injected them, and it's so thick that I really couldn't get the flavor into the inside. So I think next time I do one, I will definitely inject it with at least some beef broth. Now, don't get me wrong, it's good. It's a good recipe. But what I would do is when I season it up before I put it in the refrigerator, I will inject it with about 8 to 9 ounces of beef broth. And that'll be perfect. Okay, so that's my speed cook method for a chuck roast. It turned out to be just what you'd expect from a rare steak. It took me, I think, 1 hour and 5 minutes to cook, and it turned out pretty good. I do have a phantom guest tester over here that said, yeah, it's pretty good. So I'm gonna put the recipe down in the description. I'm gonna do all the regular old hawking stuff that we always do. And we're still working on coming out of Helene. That's why I'm not back to the video posting 2 times a week. So if y'all want to help, give us a super thanks. We'd appreciate it. Give a quarter, 50 cents, $1, whatever. We'd appreciate it. But until next time I see y'all at the grill, y'all keep on grilling.